Namah Parvati Pataye Govindanam Sankirtanam.
Namaste everyone. Om Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. This wonderful sloka will continue with the stories of the Mahabharata. This amazing, last time we heard the story from Adi Parva, the story of the superhero Vainateya, Garuda. It was really a superhero story that we saw and visualized as we heard in the Mahabharata. So today we'll continue this great Mahabharata. It is called Mahabharata because Mahatvat Bharavatvacha Mahabharata Muchyate. That is what is said in the Mahabharata itself about Mahabharata. Mahatvat Bharavatvacha. Because it is so great, Mahatvat, because of its greatness, Mahatvat, and Bharavatvat. Also, it is because it is so immense. Mahatva, Mahabhara. Both it has, Mahat and Bharavat. Bharam also it has. That's why it is called Mahabharatam. That's another way you can understand. It is so great and it is so immense. That is why it's Mahabharatam. So in this Mahabharatam, so many wonderful stories. So today we'll talk about another episode in the Adi Parva itself, the first Parva. So as you know, there was the Pandu Maharaja was there and Dhritarashtra Maharaja was there. Both of them had children, and Pandu's children were called the Pandavas. They were the 5 Pandavas, and Dhritarashtra had 100 sons, starting with Duryodhana. So they were called the Dhartarashtras. All of them were actually Kauravas because both the Pandavas and Dhartarashtras can be called Kauravas because they are from the Kuru race. Their ancestor was the great king Kuru. They are from the race of the Kuru and from the race of the Bharata. That's why they were also Bharata Vamshiyas, from where India got the name Bharat, because Bharata Varsha, because it was ruled by Bharat, the king Bharata. So these children were all there, and unfortunately the Pandu Maharaja passed away, and he was in the forest when Pandavas were born. So their mother Kunti, she brought the 5 Pandavas and came back to the capital city of Hastinapura, which is modern day Delhi. And there in Hastinapura, Dhritarashtra was the Maharaja, and he had the Dhartarashtras. And Bhishma Pitamaha, the great grandsire Bhishma, was there. So the children came first time to Hastinapura. Kunti came back to Hastinapura because she had lost her husband. And these orphan children, they were brought here. And all of them, Bhishma Pitamaha welcomed them, and Dhritarashtra welcomed them, and all of them were growing together. They were young children, they were all growing together. Dhartarashtra had so much envy because they envied the Pandavas because they were so bright and they were had such good behavior. Everybody was praising them, and they saw them also as a competition to themselves. And they also knew that Duryodhana especially was very, very desirous of becoming the next king. And he knew that Yudhishthira was older and he was the one who would be nominated the next king. So he was very jealous of him. So all of these things were going on among the children, but they were all growing together, very bright children. And one day, these children were all playing outside Hastinapura. And they were playing. These are princes, right? They were all princes. So they were playing with a beautiful golden ball. So they were playing a ball game. They were all throwing each other. All these 105 children were there playing with each other. And suddenly, as they were playing, the ball accidentally fell into a deep well. And this golden ball fell into a deep well. And they all rushed there. It was such a deep well. They could see the ball so far that it looked like a reflection of a star in that water. So, okay, what shall we do now? That ball is so deep under it, so it's looking so small and it's just shining like that. What can we do? And nobody was able to think of how to get that ball because there was no way to get into that well. It was so far away and they were helpless. At that time, a very shining Brahmana, like a rishi, one rishi came that side. He was obviously a very renowned, very shining, brilliant rishi. His face was glowing. And very interestingly, he was carrying bows and arrows. He was having weapons upon him. And there were so many people with him. So he came that side. He seemed to be just coming into Hastinapura. He saw these children. So he came to them. And Kumaran stan društva prutyavastada prahasya mandam paishalyad abhyabhashata viryavan. So that great warrior like Rishi, he saw these children who are so helpless and not knowing what to do and smiling at them beautifully. He said, that great man said, Aho no digbhalam kshatram digetam vah krutastratam bharatasyanvaye jata ye vitam nadigachata. So like that he said. So he said, this is really what a disgrace, what a surprise. You are all princes here. You are great kshatriyas, great princes, royal princes. You are even having bows and arrows with you. And you are from the great Bharata Kula. You are from the Bharata Vamsha. And yet you don't have an idea of how to get a simple ball that has fallen into the well. You are not able to come up with any idea or innovation. So what a disgrace. So he said like that to them. Then these people were very ashamed and looked at him and said, please help us, please. How do you think we can get that ball? Then he said, let me show you what it means to wield bows and arrows, right? And then he took his bow and just took an arrow, and with great concentration, he shot that arrow straight, and the arrow went and hit the ball. That ball that was so far away, it looked like a small star shining in that water, reflecting in that water, that went straight and hit like the bullseye, right? Hit the ball. And then he shot another arrow, which hit the end of the previous arrow, which hit the tail of the previous arrow. Perfect aim, right? So the head of this arrow hit the tail of that arrow. And so on, he kept on shooting arrows with great speed until he had this beautiful chain of arrows that formed like a rope. And he could beautifully, just very easily take that and handed the ball to them. The princes were totally amazed. Said, what a master archer this Brahmana is. It's totally amazing. How easily he could do this. And they said, oh, please, sir, please come with us. Please come with us. We want to take you to our grandfather, Bhishma. You should meet him. He will be very happy to meet you, such a great archer. And they requested him, and all the Pandavas and Dhritarashtra's, all these children together took him to the great Bhishma. And Bhishma saw this great Brahmana. He had an idea of who could this be, but he immediately received him, bowed to him and said, welcome, sir. very happy to have such a great Brahmana in our midst. The children explained what had happened and why they had brought him. So he really welcomed him. And he said, who are you, sir? And how can I help you? What can I do for you? Please ask me whatever you wish. You have come to our kingdom. Please tell me who you are. Then this man said, my name is Drona. I am the son of Bharadwaja. And I was learning. I was the shishya. I am the shishya of great Mahamuni Agnivesha. And I was learning Dhanurveda, the Veda of archery, right? So the Dhanurveda. So from this great Mahamuni Agnivesha. And while I was learning there, the son of Prushatha, Prushatha was the king of Panchala. His son, Drupada, was also my co-student. And both of us were learning together. And he was also my classmate. He was in the Gurukula with Agnivesha, with Mahamuni Agnivesha. And he was also trying to learn Dhanurveda. So I helped him a lot. I taught, because he was my co-student, I helped him a lot. I helped him learn all the Dhanurveda from the Guru, and whatever help he needed, I used to provide him. He was very happy. He was my very close friend. Then he told me, see, since I am a prince and I am the successor to the throne of Panchala, I am eventually going to be king. When I become king, please come to me. Come to my kingdom. Come to me. We will enjoy the Rajabhogas together. We are such close friends. We will enjoy the royal luxuries together. So like that, he invited him, promised him, and we studied like that. Eventually, both of us graduated and went our ways. He went to Panchala, and I am a son of a rishi, so I was staying in ashramas in the forest, and I was staying close outside the town I then got married to this Gautami. So of the Vamsha of Gautama, there was Gautama and Gautami. And that Gautami is none other than the sister of Krupacharya. Krupacharya, Krupa and Krupi, they are also called Gautama and Gautami. Krupa was the current teacher of the Pandavas. He is also in the Hastinapura. So his sister Gautami is the one I have married. And see, with this Drona, when he was saying all this to Bhishmacharya, his family, everybody was there. There many of his disciples, rishis, many of the people who had a lot of respect for him, his wife, and he also showed his son. A young boy was there. He said, my wife Gautami, I married, and this son, Aswadhama, was born to us. And we were living this life of a mendicant rishi that I was. But although I had a family, I didn't have much money. And I was having a life of poverty. Then our son Aswathama, one day, he used to cry a lot. And he was crying loudly as he grew up, saying to his mother, Mother, my friends are all drinking milk every day, and I don't even know how it tastes. I'm having no milk to drink. Like that, he was crying. And that was the abject poverty we were in. And I felt very bad as my wife was complaining to me, saying, look, our son doesn't even have milk to drink. And at that time, I remembered my friend Drupada. I thought, maybe I should go to him and seek his help, because I'm in such abject poverty. Asking is very difficult. Going to somebody and asking a favor is something I don't like to do at all. But then, with a friend, what is there? A friend is like your own soul. A friend is, if you have somebody who is your very true friend, close friend, like Drupada, with him I need not hesitate. I'm not going to ask him a big favor. I will just go, and he is such a big king. He rules a whole kingdom. So after all, for him, what is it? He can give me 3 or 4 cows, young cows, and that's all I would need. I can happily live with those cows and give my son milk when he needs. So let me go and seek his help. So he, thinking like this, Drona says to Bhishmacharya, I went to Panchala Desha and met with and went into the court of Drupada, who had by then become king, because as Prushata had left this world, the successor Drupada had become the king. And when I went there, I told him my plight and tried to get his help. But then Drupada really put on airs. He said, who are you? How do you claim to be my friend? I am a king. You are such a poor Brahmana. How can we be in the same league? And how can you claim that you are my friend and that we are so close to each other? Like this, he insulted me. He feigned as if he acted as if he didn't recognize me. And this way, I felt really, really bad. I felt totally insulted. And then I immediately left there, and I was thinking, where can I go? And I thought, since my brother-in-law Kripacharya lives in Hastinapura, I thought I will come here at least along with my wife and spend some time here. That's why I came in this direction. So this is how Drona explained his history. Hearing this story, Bhishma Pitamaha became extremely happy. He said, I was thinking of who will have the time and patience to really teach all the vidyas, especially the martial arts, Dhanurveda, and all the science of weaponry and warfare to our princess. And I was looking for the right teacher. And just as Providence will have it, the right teacher came right into our backyard, even without us seeking for him. So he really bowed to Dronacharya and said, oh, Mahaguru, I am very, very happy that you have come here. You are equal in valor to Parshurama. Your mastery of all the Divyastras is so renowned. We are very, very fortunate to have you. You don't need to go anywhere. You be the guest in our palace. You become the teacher. You become the guru of our princess. They will all learn from you. And so Bhishmacharya immediately arranged all the Gurukula and all the arrangements for the Dronacharya to stay and teach all these children, all these princes, all that they wish to learn. And so Drona said, okay, I will. And he turned to the students, all these princes, and said, oh, children, so I will teach you all the science of archery. I will teach you so many astras and shastras. When I complete the teaching, who will promise to fulfill any wish that I have? These children, again, this was an unexpected question. And they were looking at each other. What is he going to ask? What will we promise? What can we promise him? What is he going to ask? While they were looking like that, one boy immediately raised his hand and said, sir, I will definitely fulfill any wish that you have after learning from you. And he boldly said that. And that was Arjuna. So Drona became so happy, hearing such bold commitment and promise, immediately embraced him and had very special liking towards him. So with that, the Astra Abhyasa of all the Kuru princess started. And they were all learning from Dronacharya. And since he had established such a great teacher, had established such a great school, so many princes from different other kingdoms also came there. And this became a very wonderful place of learning. And all of them were being taught so many different vidyas by the great Dronacharya. And Arjuna especially was very, very focused. He was one of the most focused, brilliant students there, always learning and always practicing and always trying hard. So he was an amazing student. And then Drona was more and more happy with him. And other people started becoming envious of him, including Drona's own son, Aswadhama. He said, he himself thought, my goodness, I am Drona's son, but he has surpassed me and he's surpassing me and he's learning, practicing so well and he's becoming such an expert. How shall I compete with Arjuna? And he was constantly thinking, how should I prevent him from becoming even more master? So because they were all in the Gurukula, they all used to be fed by there itself, arrangements. They used to eat there, sleep there, and they used to live there. So the person who serves the food, Aswadhama went and told him, never ever serve food when it is dark. Especially to Arjuna, never serve food when it is dark. So anyway, he gave that. Why was he thinking like that? So one day, as luck would have it, although there was always light, they would place a light and deepa and serve the food. One day there was a huge wind, and with that gust of wind, the light was blown off and it became dark while the children were eating their dinner. And at that time, Arjuna, and of course everybody although it was dark, because they were in the middle of eating, they continued eating. Then suddenly Arjuna thought, everybody was eating, but Arjuna was thinking, how are we able to eat although it is dark? We are not able to see anything. Then he realized this eating action is so habitual for us. We have practiced it so much that we don't even need to see. Automatically we pick up food and put in our mouth. Then he realized that is how we should practice. That's how we get mastery over anything. And so from that moment on, he started practicing in the night, shooting arrows, and intense practice in the night without even needing to see. So because with practice, you can do it. So even without seeing, we can shoot. That way he started practicing. This was what Aswadhama was trying to prevent. And so seeing this amazing practice even at night and the way he was mastering, Drona became so delighted when he discovered that. And he came and told Arjuna, I'll make sure there's nobody, you are such a great student, no archer will ever match you. You will be the greatest archer ever. That is the blessing Drona gave him and promise Drona gave him. In this way, that wonderful Guru-Shishya relationship and all the mastery of the arts, of the martial arts, continued in Hastinapura. So this is the story we wanted to say today, how the Pandavas got introduced to this great Drona and how the whole school atmosphere and how the great practice and continued in Hastinapura. With that, Om Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Namaste.
Namaste.
Ram Ram.